If you have met someone and you're wondering if they are your soulmate, watch this video before you put a label on things or get too invested, because there are 3 Synastry Astrology aspects that indicate that this person is definitely not your soulmate. And so in this video, I'm going to break down what these 3 Synastry aspects are so you can discover whether or not this person is meant for you. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Isabelle, your spiritual rebel friend, and today we are talking about 3 aspects you can have in a synastry chart or in synastry astrology in general that indicate that someone is definitely not your soulmate. And the reason I say these 3 aspects mean that they're definitely not your soulmate is based off of readings I have done with many clients who ask, well, there's this person I'm drawn to. It feels like we're a soul connection. And they tell me their sign or their placements, and there's a clear indicator that this person is not meant for them and could in fact instead be a lesson. Now, before I dive into today's video talking about the 3 different aspects in synastry astrology that indicate that they're not your soulmate, be sure to book a reading in the link in the description below where we can dive deeper into your love, astrology, current transits that may indicate love, or any other kind of reading. So the sky is the limit. We can cover it all from purpose to career to love, you name it. Learn more down below, book a reading down below. In this video specifically, I am going to cover a general overview into what synastry astrology is, the 3 major aspects you should look at in a synastry chart or someone's chart you are interested in to know whether or not this is a soulmate connection that specifically indicate that this person is not a soulmate connection, which is as follows, going to be Pluto, Black Moon Lilith, and the South Node, and practical tips for applying this knowledge. So if you are someone who not only wants to take in the information of whether or not this person is a soulmate for you, but you want to know what to do with the information once it's applied, watch through to the end of this video where I'm going to share some practical tips for applying this knowledge to your life. So first and foremost, let's cover a quick overview into what synastry astrology is and how I'm also going to technically, I believe, be tying in some concepts that are not synastry astrology. Synastry astrology works on the concept that you can overlap 2 people's birth charts and look at how planets form aspect to one another to understand whether or not this is a positive fit, a negative fit, or simply put, what the strengths and challenges are going to be within the relationship. Synastry astrology can be used for more than just romance or romantic partnerships. It can be used in relationship with anyone. It's basically taking into account the mathematical calculations and differences that are going to be taking place between your placements. For example, if your moon is in one sign and their moon is in the opposite sign, you guys are going to have a moon opposition, which will have its own synastry astrology meaning. However, in the end, the root concept behind synastry astrology is asking the question of, how do our charts differ? And what is the energetic also alignment and misalignment that we have together? So in this video, breaking down the 3 different things that indicate that they're not your soulmate in your synastry chart, I will also be tying in interpretations that are technically not what I would consider, or to my understanding, be synastry aspects such as conjunctions, squares, oppositions, but also just general themes that may very well indicate that they are not your soulmate. And this is again based off of experience I've had with my clients, and they have realized afterwards and said to me, yeah, that was definitely not my soulmate. I'm glad I knew that information. And again, this is also just my perspective on this. So while I'll be talking mainly about synastry astrology, I again will be tying in non-synastry astrology. This is how I would see it plays out, and this was what I would consider to be 3 major aspects you could have with someone else's chart that would indicate they're definitely not your soulmate. First and foremost, let's talk about Pluto. Pluto is a major role in synastry astrology because Pluto represents death and transformation, but also more accurately, from my own experience with my clients, it shows us our generational traumas. So it's something that we are healing that is a generational wound. Now, how does this exactly play out in synastry astrology? If their sun sign, first and foremost, is the same as your Pluto, or if their sun is conjunct your Pluto and arguably your moon or their moon or your rising, This indicates that this person is here not as a soulmate connection. However, they may feel very familiar in the sense that they can feel like this sense of home, and they can bring the sense maybe of even comfort because it is what is familiar to us based off of what our wounds are growing up. In the end, Pluto really does show us what kind of parental wounds we often have. And so this person can feel like comfort, feel like home if their sun or moon or rising is your Pluto sign, or specifically conjunct. They're going to feel that sense of comfort. You're going to feel that sense of comfort around them. However, this is also maybe a negative connection in the sense of they're going to feel comfortable, but they're going to feel as if they keep you limited to what your generational wounds are. After all, Pluto is transformation in the positive. And so someone is connecting with us with what feels like our wound or with our transformation process. It can feel like being with them is always this mysterious transformation process or keeping us stuck in old patterns. So key takeaway, and then vice versa, if one partner's Pluto is the same and specifically conjunct the other partner's sun, moon, or rising, this heavily indicates that this person is here to bring to light your transformation that needs to take place, your generational wounds that need to be healed, and they may feel like comfort, they may feel like home, they may remind you of this sense of primal security that you found with your parents, but they are not necessarily a soulmate because they may keep you trapped in a cycle of transformation, death and rebirth, or even stuck in old generational wounds, traumas, or patterns. Second aspect that indicates that someone is probably not your soulmate is Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith in our chart is our place of shame. It represents what we feel rejected for, but also is a place of power, something that we ourselves are supposed to embrace. And so once again, if someone's sun, moon, or rising is the same as the other partner's Black Moon Lilith, and if this is specifically conjunct, this is a sign that this person is meant to be in your life to make you aware of your wounds and possibly trigger them. In my own personal experience, my last relationship, his moon was my Black Moon Lilith, and it was conjunct, I believe, as well. And what this did is that it brought to light the wound that I wanted to heal and almost made me more codependent on him because it felt like that wound was being recognized. However, it was not being healed in the process, especially because he embodied the traits I wanted to be. So while it felt safe to see those traits, I was not learning to heal these traits on my own. And so what happens when someone's sun, moon, or rising is the same or conjunct as our Black Moon Lilith, it brings to light our wounds, but gives it almost this blanket of, there, it's healed, let's just put a band-aid on it, you're good to move forward. It also can be in many ways an energetic attachment. Instead of healing the wound, we find someone who represents that quality so we don't have to go through the healing work, so to say. In the end, this is a karmic connection, I would say, that is supposed to indicate what it is that you need healing, especially if this is this person's sun or moon sign. I would emphasize if it feels like those traits are very dominant in them, the traits that are your Black Moon Lilith, they're here to help you see the qualities that you yourself need to embrace. However, is it a soulmate connection? I would argue no, because it's going to feel like you're constantly soothing a wound around them, and they are meant to bring to light what you're supposed to heal. And so you may never possibly go through the work of healing your own wound potentially. And finally, the third aspect that I would consider in a synastry chart / just overlapping charts that could indicate that someone is not your soulmate, and I tense the word could because astrology doesn't dictate compatibility, desire does, I would say, is the South Node. The South Node is our overused gifts and talents. And once again, I've had a bit of experience with this in the sense that with our South Node being our overused gifts and talents, it's also said to be our past life karma, what we nailed in our past life, the energy we embodied in our past life. And so if someone's sun, moon, or rising, and I would emphasize the sun sign with this one, if their sun sign is conjunct or in the same sign as your South Node, they're definitely a past life connection. However, oftentimes the universe brings us these connections to say we need to wrap up a story here so you can step into your future. After all, that's the past. past life, not present life. So there's that symbolic meaning, what I've noticed with having a connection whose sun, moon, or rising, emphasize sun, is the same or conjunct your south node, is they're bringing this person into your life because you're connected in a past life, but you're meant to heal something to move forward. There's something that you maybe overuse that is being brought to light. After all, in the end, the simple approach to understanding the south node is that it's our overused gifts and talents. And so if their sun, moon, or rising is your south node, this indicates that they are to bring to light, similar to the previous two aspects we talked about, Pluto and Black Moon Lilith, bring to light a quality that maybe is, in this case, overused for you or keeping you limited. In the end, the South Node, while it is our spiritual fulfillment in many ways in the Vedic approach, and it is our talents, it's what keeps us limited. If we use it too much, it keeps us limited. We can't manifest as well. We can't reach into our highest potential. We definitely don't feel like we're living our purpose when we are overly in our South Node. And so symbolically, what I see happen with someone whose sun, moon, or rising is their South Node or another South Node is this energy of being limited. And I will say from personal experience, I have met people, I've had romantic encounters and relationships, situationships with those who are my South Node, whose sun sign is my South Node. And there's definitely that clear indicator where it feels comfortable, it feels known because it was maybe a past life, or it feels known because it's my natural talent of energy, but it keeps me limited because it's not what I'm growing towards. And by having someone whose energy aligns with my South Node, it's harder to tap into my North Node. And so that is the energy that presents itself with someone whose sun, moon, or rising is in the same sign or conjunct your South Node. It may feel comforting, like a past life. You may feel like you've known each other forever, kick it off very well, feel like soulmates, but this is actually someone who's here to help you release what no longer serves to step into your growth. And if you stay with them, it's likely, but not guaranteed, that you will feel limited and that your growth will feel harder and that you may feel like you're stuck in past versions of yourself, or you simply put, may just play too much into your natural talents and energy rather than growing. So growth becomes more challenging. Quick final note with this all, which I briefly mentioned, but I do want to emphasize, this is just one, again, my personal interpretation of these aspects, and two, astrology does not dictate compatibility. Just because the love of your life, it feels like, has their moon sign in your Black Moon Lilith, or their sun is your Pluto, or their rising is your South Node, does not mean that you're fated to fail. I do personally think, from personal observation and what I've experienced, that the number one indicator of success in relationships is desire from both sides of the relationship. And so if it feels like you guys are communicating, if it feels like you guys are on the same page, if it feels like you guys want to work this out, if you guys both have the desire, do not let Synastry Astrology dictate that. So with that disclaimer basically being said, and with all that information in mind, what do you do with this information? In the end, regardless of Synastry Astrology, I would say every connection is destined. It is meant as a attraction point. It could be a manifestation, a sign from the universe to help you understand where or what you need to do next, where you need to go next, what you need to do next. And so these three indicators that maybe someone isn't your possible soulmate is also a very strong connection that indicates what we need to heal and work through the most. These are three very powerful aspects in our chart. And so if you meet someone whose Pluto or whose sun, moon, or rising or strong energy is your Pluto, whether that's conjunct or not, this is definitely an indication to look at your childhood wounds, generational wounds, and self-destructive patterns. I would definitely, if you meet someone who has a Pluto aspect or a aspect to your Pluto, I would ask myself, what generational patterns am I repeating? What generational patterns are in my family? What self-sabotaging patterns do I hold? And how do I hold on to this for the sake of familiarity rather than stepping out of my comfort zone out of maybe fear of rejection or fear of abandonment? If you're meeting someone whose sun, moon, or rising forms aspect in some form or fashion to your Black Moon Lilith, this is to ask yourself, what qualities does this person resemble that I want to embrace? That is really the symbolism here. Asking yourself, how can I own these traits? How do I want to define these traits? And how do these traits initially potentially trigger me at the thought of embracing them myself? How can I heal this? And I have a Black Moon Lilith workbook that you can check out down below or in the card up above if you want to learn more more about your Black Moon Lilith. If you have someone in your life whose sun, moon, or rising is conjunct or in the same sign as your Black Moon Lilith, this is huge for this healing journey around Black Moon Lilith. And finally, if you have someone in your life whose sun, moon, or rising is forming, aspect, or in the same sign as your South Node, this is to bring to light what is blocking you from your highest growth in this lifetime and limiting you in your purpose. Definitely pay attention to these connections. They are karmic in many ways. They could be a past life connection if you believe in past lives. They're very, very important, and they're meant to symbolize what's keeping you limited. It can feel oftentimes very addicting and very painful, I believe. It can feel like you want something from this person, but you can't quite get it. But this is meant to help you up level. And so ask yourself, what are the qualities that this person brings out in me? And how can I step into my growth? And how would my relationship with this person change if I were to step into this growth? Is it possible that they would fall away? Know that could be very, very positive for you. So let me know in the comments below. This is a new series I'm testing out. Did you guys like this video? Was it helpful? Do you want more details on any of it? Do you want me to continue to do a series talking about synastry astrology? And if so, let me know what specific synastry aspects you guys are interested in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos breaking down the stars and more. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, my name is Isabelle, and from my heart to yours, namaste. Right in time for the dogs to start barking.